What's up, fellow fantasy-loving friends? This is Josh from RSMP Tabletop, and I'm excited because today, the Battle Standard from East Windsor, Connecticut teamed up with RSMP Tabletop so we could bring you guys 5 skirmish games in 5 minutes.
Hey folks, I'm Bob from the Battle Standard here in East Windsor. We're here to talk today about skirmish games. So if you were interested in tabletop gaming, but you didn't want to quite go to the big scale of a game like Warhammer or Warhammer 40,000, this is the place to start to look. So let's start with Marvel Crisis Protocol. This is a really popular game involving some of the most famous characters on the planet. What you do in this game is you set up a map. It's on the smaller side so it can fit on your table at home or here in the store. You set up this awesome terrain. One of the things that's special about the game is you interact with the terrain. So if you have a big character like Hulk, he can pick up a building and throw it at someone. Pretty cool. This is a game where you have a roster of 10 characters, but usually you're not keeping all 10 of them on the table at any given time. You're usually playing with 5 to 7, and you battle it out for supremacy. Next up, let's talk about Arena Rex. Very popular game in the store. What it is another skirmish game. You're usually playing 3 to 6 models a side, so it's only a dozen models on the table at the most, and it's set in a mythic version of the Roman gladiatorial combats. So what you do is pick out your models from a big selection of different things and bash them into each other in the center. It's got a lot of rules that make it really a bloody, up-close, personal sort of skirmish game. Next up, let's visit Malifaux. This is an interesting game that's a mashup of a bunch of different genres. So if you're interested in having your steampunk goblins fight against your Asian demon summoners, this is the place to come. It's got some great stuff that make it different than a lot of other games. Instead of rolling dice to resolve things, you have a deck of cards, and you add those numbers to your skills in order to find out what's going to happen. It's got a very, very deep lore to the game that's across a dozen different factions, so there's a lot of choices to make. Let's talk about Moonstone. This is an incredible game. It's set in a world of kind of an alternate England. If you like the thought of Brian Froud style Dark Crystal Labyrinth, Jim Henson sort of thing, you'll love this. The game is interesting because it can play from 2 players that a lot of the skirmish games play, but it has mechanics in it to play up to 4. So that's a little bit different than a lot of games. Even if you have an odd number of players, you can still play it. This game uses cards also for resolution. The big difference is that it has some built-in stuff where you're bluffing your opponent. So if you have a power, but you don't have the card that you need, you can play a card and say that you do, and if your opponent calls you out on it, and you actually have the card you need, bad things happen to them. If they call your bluff and they're correct, bad things happen to you. Finally, let's talk about Kill Team. Games Workshop for years has tried to make smaller versions of their big games, and they finally nailed it with this one. This is the second version of the game, and it uses about 10 models a side and a nice small map. This one, you're fighting the way through these corridors and trying to take out your enemy. And there's a bunch of different missions to play. Some of them are area control, some of them are destroy your opponents. But one of the great things about it is if you already have a Warhammer 40k collection, you could probably play it with the models you already own. So stop in, check these games out. We usually play skirmish games on Monday night. You can check in on our store Discord, the Battle Standard in East Windsor, and set up a game.
Bob, my dude, you absolutely slayed that. Thank you so much for taking the time to explain to us 5 skirmish games in 5 minutes. But seriously, if there was anything in this video that you saw that you liked, I really encourage you to jump in your car and head down to your local game store. Walk in and talk to them, see what they have to offer. I promise you, you may not know it yet, but there is a game out there for you. And I'm gonna film it, and if you keep watching this channel, subscribe, like, and share, you might just stumble across it. Until next time, stay safe.
So if you want to hear more about any of the stuff we talked about today or any of the other games we play, come check us out the Battle Standard Tabletop Games and Hobbies in East Windsor, Connecticut, 4 Prospect Hill Road, Suite number 1. I look forward to getting to meet you soon. Come check us out.